My art is fascinating because when I'm painting, often the painting sort of develops itself and often surprises me in which way it goes and what happens. I try and capture the light of the sky because I've always been fascinated by the sky, and painting it allows me to express that passion I've got. And I like to paint seascapes because with seascapes I can use the water underneath to do more in the composition of the painting and in trying to achieve not realism but the atmosphere of what I'm looking at. And if I can do it to a good enough standard, then people looking at my work or even buying it, they might get the same sort of feeling that I had when I was painting it, and often they do, which is really rewarding. I'm John Abrahams. I was born way back in 1945 and I live in Somerset in an old Georgian house in one of the flats, but luckily I've got a studio and a workshop in the courtyard of the big house. I stopped painting when I was in my early 20s to get on with life, but I came back to painting in 2012. I find every moment I can to paint. The first inspiration was my mother when I was in my early teens. She encouraged me to paint and to draw, but my father had a different idea. He thought I should just concentrate on being an engineering draftsman, and against my father's wishes I used to go to art college in the evenings. And in my teens I did exhibit work and I painted mainly in pastels and oils, but my mother encouraged me tremendously, and she had artistic tendencies, shall we say, but she used to write, she used to go to the theatre, and she used to dance. She was in a dance troupe, and my father's idea that really art wasn't the proper thing to do, he actually stopped the dancing, which was incredibly sad. Because I hadn't used acrylics when I started painting again, I'd started when my partner, she picked up on the fact that I would like to paint, and she bought easels, she bought paintbrushes, she bought canvases. And one day she sort of presented them to me and said she bought this course for me. And it was a birthday present, so I had to go. But once I'd been there 10-15 minutes, I was inspired again. The passion was reignited to create art. I'm painting in acrylics, which are very forgiving. If I make a mistake when I lay some paint on, I can then put some water on and wipe it off. And if I'm in a hurry, I use a hairdryer to dry it quickly, and then I can carry on without smudging the paint that I've already laid down. If I'm trying to create a misty or a gentle sort of sky or atmosphere, I use oil bar. Put a small piece onto the canvas and then you can work it with your fingers, spread it around. Or for the edge of clouds, I often use a white, and this stands out really sharply as if the sun is shining through and illuminating that thin piece of cloud. It's lovely because it means somebody else sees something in my work. It might not be what I see in it, but they see something on my work that creates an emotion. I had an exhibition in Musgrove Hospital, and hundreds of people every day walk along that corridor and see your work. And I found that if I loitered there, or if Beverly, my partner, loitered there, they could hear comments, unguarded comment of people looking at the work. But getting feedback from people is it's wonderful. The plan is that my art will take over from my upholstery work. I think as time goes on it's going to be easier for me and more enjoyable. I'd like to build up a following so that people that like my work will not just be happy to have one of my paintings on a wall, but maybe 2 or 3. I still enjoy restoring antique chairs and sofas, but my passion is now in the painting.